Hello musicians, this is Corey Taylor from skilledmusician.com, where we are helping musicians improve. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Now in this video, we're going to be talking about how to write a catchy hook, but I brought in some help. I have a phenomenal teacher. Her name is Michelle Alonso. She's originally from Brazil. She's a phenomenal composer, arranger, singer, songwriter, and pianist. And she's going to show us how to write a catchy hook, especially for the CCM and gospel genres. But these principles work for all genres. And she's literally going to write one right in front of you right now. So make sure you stay tuned. Now, 3 quick things before we get started. Number 1, Michelle also created 2 videos that go hand in hand with this particular video. So if you're really interested in this, go to her YouTube channel and check out those other videos. I'll put a link in the description box to her channel, but it's simply, you can type it in Michelle Alonso with an S. Number 2, Michelle created a PDF file to accompany this video. I put a link to that PDF file in the description box. So click that link, add your email address, and grab that download. Number 3, Michelle has an album called The Present, and it's unbelievable. But even more unbelievable than the music is what she's doing with the album. All physical sales of her album are being donated to an organization called Compassionate Caravan, and to bring free medical and dental assistance to those in need. So let's definitely support her as well. All right, let's get started.
Thank you, Corey. It's really a pleasure to be here with you in your channel. And like Corey said, I'm Michelle Alonso. I'm a singer-songwriter, an arranger, and I'm here today to help you write some hooks. So I'm going to be teaching you today a technique that you can use anytime and build hooks from the bottom up, from nothing into something. You don't need to feel like you need to rely on inspiration in order to create this. And you can, if you're a pianist, you can use it. If you're a vocalist, you can use it. If you're a pianist and you are rehearsing things in your church, you can use it for multiple instruments. This is very versatile. So I really hope it helps you. But before we dive into this technique, I just need to make sure that you understand what a hook is, what types of hooks there are, and some of the characteristics of hooks. Now, I created a video that goes more in depth into the types of hooks and the characteristics, and that's in my YouTube channel. You guys can go there and check it out. I'm just going to give you a brief overview so that you have a basic understanding before we move on to the technique. First things first, what is a hook? A hook is just that part of the song that hooks you into the song, that is very memorable, that sticks to your brain. And you can hear that in, a lot in pop music, but also in contemporary Christian, in gospel. You can hear it everywhere. I'm going to give you, in my video, I give you some examples from the contemporary Christian and the gospel worlds. Now, there are 3 types of hooks that you need to know about. We have instrumental or musical hooks, we have vocal hooks, and we have lyric hooks. And like I said, you can go to my video in my YouTube channel to find out more about that. Now, let's talk about the characteristics of hooks. There are 5 main things that you need to remember. One of them, the first one, is that hooks need to be simple, okay? The greatest hooks are very simple. Think less is more, okay? The second thing is that they need to be identifiable, that we need to know immediately what song it is. The third thing is that they need to be emotional. They need to have a connection with the listener. They need to connect the listener in an emotional level. The fourth thing is that they need to be memorable, so you need to be able to memorize it easily. And the fifth thing is related to that, which is it needs to be child-proof. A child needs to be able to remember it easily. A child needs to be able to remember it easily. So having said that, we're going to go through the technique and we're going to try to incorporate these elements as we build this hook. We could start building the hook from any place. We could start from lyrics. We could start with an existing melodic idea. But right now, I want to help generate musical ideas from nothing. So the first step that we need to do is to set a tempo. Okay, so that's very basic, right? And when I say set a tempo, I want you to think about the genre that you play in or that you sing in. So, for example, in my case, I'm thinking that today I'm going to create an uplifting hook for maybe a church setting. Okay, so I'm just gonna pick a random tempo. So let's try here. So 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. That feels good to me, but it could be slower, it could be faster. Now, I want you to think about something. I want you to realize that even the tempo has an emotional content to it, okay? And that's very important. So if in this tempo, 1, 2, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. In this tempo, I feel like it has a sort of forward motion, different than if I went 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That's more laid back. That's more reflective, maybe. So I want the forward motion going. Okay. So let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the next step that we have is that we need to set a groove. And a groove, I think, is slightly different from the tempo. The tempo is just, we're not necessarily thinking about any subdivision of the beat. But when we're talking about a groove, we're thinking about the subdivision of the beat. And it can be, as you know, we could have straight eights, we could have, swung eighth notes, we could have triplet, the beat divided into 3 parts, triplets. So you can play around with that. We could have, so let's see, if we have 1, 2, I'm thinking straight eights in my idea right now. So, but I could go, and then it's a completely different groove than 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So I don't necessarily need to swing or shuffle anything. Now, I have a tip to add here. You could potentially skip these 2 steps and just pick a groove from an existing song. So this is something that you could, just go to your favorite song, your favorite artist, or pick a groove from a song that you like, and then build it up from there. But that will trigger slightly different ideas to come to your brain. So, and I just wanted to show you how to do it if you don't have anything. So the next step, the third step, is that we will start improvising rhythms on top of this groove, okay? So now it's very important to understand a few things about how we're going to improvise this rhythm. And this is where knowing the characteristics of hooks will help you create the best rhythms, the most suitable rhythms for a hook, okay? The first thing that we want to do with our rhythm is to create, like I said, simple rhythms, right? Simple, less is more. So we're going to create a few simple rhythms, and we're going to try to combine to create a balance between long notes and short notes. We're going to try to create a balance between on the beat and off the beat. So on the beat, syncopation. And we want to have rests. We want to make use of rests in this process of improvising rhythms. So I'm just gonna set my tempo again. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm just gonna do long notes maybe, okay? So let's try. Oh, oh, oh. So like just monotone, or like you don't have to have the right syllables, the right notes. You don't have to sing pretty. If I worry about singing pretty right now, the creativity goes out the window. So no worries. So I'm just gonna try it again. So let's try to find a rhythm that is catchy, that is easy to remember, easy to be sung back. Okay, so we can go like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Da da. Maybe that could be it. Da da. Or let's try it again. Another one. Da da da. Very simple, right? Da da da. And now, what I want you guys to do is to try and improvise and do two kinds of improvisation. So right now I'm doing long notes. Now I'm going to do shorter, faster notes. So, and again, simple. 1, 2, 3, 4. Da 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 da. It's a little faster, right? Just on the beat. Maybe I want to add some in between there. Let's try. Da 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 da. I like that, right? Da 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 da. Did I do it? 1? What? Yeah. So I did it on the beat. 1 and 2 and 3. Right? So I think I'm gonna pick this rhythm, da 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 da, and I'm also gonna pick the long note one, da da da. Okay, so those are my 2 rhythms, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna combine those 2 and make them into a longer phrase. Now you don't have to do this, especially if you're working already with a song and you're trying to come up with a hook, because you can use this exercise if you're writing a song and you're trying to come up with a hook for existing material, right? But in this case, we're just gonna use both of these ideas and we're gonna create a bigger idea. Okay, so let's see how putting them together sounds. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Da 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 da. Actually, because my other rhythm was on 1, right? Let's take that out. So we're gonna have da 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 da. So 1 da 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 da. I think that's the rhythm that I sing. But let's try it again. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Da 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 da. Let's do, yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with. Da 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 da. I think that's very catchy, right? Corey, can you repeat it? Do you remember it?
Oh yeah, Michelle, I got it. Da 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 da.
Yes. So very easy, right? And again, this is an important point. It needs to be memorable. And so now we go to our next step, which is to start assigning pitches to this rhythm. Okay, so now I like to think of it in a certain way as far as assigning pitches to keep with the simple theme going on. I start with just picking one note that I'm going to repeat through the entire pattern, and then I can also experiment. Sometimes when you start singing these rhythms, you're going to have pitches that are going to be triggered in your mind. You need to test them out to see if they're congruent with the emotion that you want to convey. So you cannot ever forget that there is an emotional component that you're trying to communicate. So what I like to think is I like to start with just repeated notes. I like to see what my brain is generating in terms of pitches and experiment with that. And if my brain isn't really generating anything, I'll go with repeated notes. I'll go with major triads or minor triads in general. I will go with pentatonic scale. So those are things that you experiment with until you find something that you're happy with. So this is the pitch that's in my mind right now. La, 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 la. So let's see if we do 1, 2, 3. La, la, la. I don't really like staying in that first note so long, or I don't like staying in that pitch for this much time. So maybe we can just try like a do, re, mi kind of thing. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. La, la, la. That I think could be catchy, right? We could try using a triad. La, la, la. That too, or la, la, la. That could be too, but in my mind, the emotion that I'm going for is more, for some reason I want to go up. I think going up will be more congruent with the emotion. So at this point, you can also start experimenting with step number 6, which is where you assign harmonies and where you start thinking about the types of hooks that there are. Like I said, go to that video in my channel for you to understand more about that. But right now you can assign harmony, and you can assign and you can experiment with the types of hooks. I could just go, this is the rhythm, right? Like da 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 da. This could be an accompaniment kind of hook, or in this case, what I'm playing is more like not as hooky or as distinguished, that's the word, not as distinguished as a hook will usually be, but I'm thinking I'm gonna create a melodic, a vocal kind of hook that we can use both on our instruments or with vocals, or with melodic instruments, right? With instruments that play melodic lines, saxophones, brass, violins, whatever you have available. So I'm thinking, let's go back to the idea, to the rhythm. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Oh, and then I'm thinking that what's triggering my mind is that we could have a call and response kind of thing. So maybe somebody could be singing whoa, 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 and we don't have to have any lyrics. We can just have oh, 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 and then have a group response. Da, 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 da. And now I'm just assigning a progression, very easy. 1, 6, 4 is what is in my mind. But then, of course, you can always use Corey's videos to reharmonize everything and make it all sound crazy and awesome. So let's try to see what this would sound like with a chord progression. La, da, 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 da. That's one way that it could be done. Now we could continue to improvise and continue to experiment with changing the pitches in either of these two spots in this call and response hook. So da 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 So this is just stuff that's coming up in my mind right now, but you have the steps now for you to know how to explore. So start with a single note, then start going up the scale, then try a pentatonic scale. In this case, I'm kind of using pentatonic pitches only, right? I didn't use a 4. So I want to see if I can do. I want to try one more time with the three pitches going up. La da 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 da. Now to me, it feels like if I do it again, the same, it may be a little too much. I don't know. Have to experiment, like I said. But I'm thinking da 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 So I kind of developed that theme a little bit, improvised, stretched it a little bit, changed the rhythm a little bit. Da 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 da. So there you have it. You have a musical idea that is catchy that you didn't have a few minutes ago, and now your job is to continue to explore and continue to and actually test this. You're gonna see that in one of the videos that in my channel that I'm telling you about the hooks needing to be childproof. Actually, I said this earlier, right? Your hooks need to be childproof. So like sing it to a child, see if the child can repeat it yourself, like get away from it for a little bit and then come back to it and see if you can still remember it. So those are tests that you do to see if it's catchy enough. Now, one thing that the next step that I don't know if your viewers, Corey, would necessarily need, but I think some of you guys work in churches and work with praise teams and things like that. So the next step would be to add words. So let's try this process of assigning words. So I'm gonna try la da da, the God of miracles. What about that? Oh, so oh, the God of miracles. All things are possible. The God of miracles. I don't know, like I would have to work a little bit more with lyrics to come up with maybe 3 different sentences that would have the same kind of theme. But I think you guys get the idea, right? So then you just go through that process of adding words that fit the emotion, that fit the occasion, and there you have it. You created a hook from beginning to end. You had no idea. You ended up with an idea that is not only a hook, but it can turn into a whole song. And you can apply the same technique to different contexts, right? You may apply this technique for existing ideas, for arranging something that you're working on, wherever you work on, in church or in worship teams and things like that. I hope this was helpful and that you guys can use this technique to help generate ideas and that you guys start writing awesome songs.
Wow, Michelle, that was absolutely phenomenal. All right, now I know some of y'all are going to try to take that song and run with it, but write your own songs. Now listen, there are 2 other companion videos that Michelle created on her YouTube channel. So go to her channel, check out those other 2 videos because they're phenomenal as well. Make sure you grab the PDF link in the description box because there's a PDF that accompanies this video. And lastly, let's go buy her album because remember, all those sales of the album, all the physical sales go to Compassionate Caravan to help provide medical care to those in need. All right, thank you all so much for checking out this video again. So until the next one, be blessed and happy practice.